Good morning, friends. We are doing yin yoga this morning. Welcome to our practice. I have to say that this has been a really tough couple of days for all of us, and I hope you're all hanging in there. I've had moments where I'm happy and running around doing great things, and have moments of anxiety and fear and running all kinds of gamuts of emotion. And I hope you guys are managing it well. Talk to people, reach out to your friends. If you're having trouble managing your stress, your anxiety, talk to people. Tell them that you're also feeling sad sometimes or scared. We're going through it all together. So here we are. I've got lots of people joining us. My niece Heather, I love you, in Toronto. Julie McGinnis is on. Ann Edwards is on. Nancy, I can never say your last name. Nancy's on. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes as people start to join in. Good morning, Gary Hall. He's been a great volunteer for the Meech Lake Triathlon over the years, which we're still hoping to hold, but I'm not so sure it's going to happen this year. So keep on joining in. You'll start to gather your props for this morning. So you'll want your bolsters if you have any at home. I don't have any bolsters at home. I've got my foam roller. I've got a block. I've got a mat. If you don't have a mat, you can do it on a carpet. If you've got some pillows, you can see I've got some pillows back here ready for props. Anything that you can start to gather up. You can use a rolled up towel. You can use a rolled up blanket. Anything that you need that you can gather up around your house, feel free to gather up. We'll get started just in a couple more minutes. Oh, I've got a neighbor on here. Good morning, Louise Hannant. She's also a fitness instructor. We've got about 4 or 5 on our street, which is pretty cool. And we all gather up together and get together and exchange ideas. Good morning, Dana. Nice to have you on here. And we'll wait a couple more minutes as people start to join in. So make sure you've got all of your props available, your mat, your block, if you have one, rolled up towel, rolled up blankets, anything that you can imagine that would help kind of prop you up in this yin practice. So let's talk a little bit about the yin practice first before you get started. We're going to just sit in a comfortable seat. I'm going to be doing the talking. Martin has kindly decided that he's going to, there he is, is going to do the actual practice here. Oh, good morning, Anna Marika. Great to see you're on here. So Martin's going to do the practice. He has never done yoga, yin yoga before. So he's never done yin yoga before. So this is a great way for beginners to start yin. Yin is a very different practice than a flow practice or a hatha practice. We sit in the pose for a really long time.
Is it gonna hurt?
It's gonna be, no, it does not want to hurt. You do not want this to hurt. Okay, so we're gonna get started because everybody I think who's gonna be on here for now is on here. And we're gonna load this up to our YouTube channel after. So I'll just have Martin lie down behind me on the mat. Good morning, Simon, welcome in. There he goes, he's lying down on the mat. And you guys can all lie down on the mat as well. So we're going to start in a nice, relaxed, easy pose, maybe in Shavasana if that feels good. You can have your feet together, opened up in a butterfly shape if you like. Totally up to you. Whatever is calling your name, whatever pose feels right, just jump into that pose now and just start to relax into the pose. Feeling the breath. Yin is all about just being in the moment. And let's start to set an intention for the practice. The intention being around paying attention to your breath, paying attention to your mind, and paying attention to your body. Feeling the inhales, feeling the exhales. Notice any smells in the room. Maybe some lovely smells from that wonderful breakfast you made this morning because you had more time to make a cooked breakfast. Noticing any sounds in the room. Your cats, your dog. The sound of the heater going on or off. Maybe you can hear the raindrops falling outside. Not sure if you can hear my music in the background. We've got spa music going on in the background from Sirius XM. The sound of Martin snoring. He is going to inject humor, by the way. We know that. Good morning, Harry. Harry's a regular yogi of mine. Oh, there's the sound of the cat going by. Start to notice any sensations that you have in your body right now. Maybe you can feel the air against your skin. Is the air feeling light or is the air feeling heavy? Let's see if we can lighten that air. As the cat walks by. Staying with your breath. And if at any time your mind starts to wander, I'd like you to think about the breath going up and down your spine. So as you inhale, feeling the breath at the top of your spine, at your head. And as you exhale, imagining the breath drifting down your spine. As you inhale, inhale at the base of your spine. And as you exhale, allow that breath to float all the way up your spine to your head. Inhale the top of your spine. And exhale and allow the breath to float down your spine. Staying with that meditation. And if your mind starts to wander, just come back to that. Staying with the breath, floating up and down the spine. And as you exhale, noticing how you can allow your body to relax just a little bit more. Inhaling and exhaling that relaxation. Feeling relaxed, start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll out your wrists, roll out your ankles. Maybe play the piano with your fingers. And we'll take that full body stretch with those arms up and overhead. Reach those arms up and overhead. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. And just looking over to your left or right side, see if you can find a block or a pillow. We're going to come into a supported bridge first. So I'm going to point the camera over towards Martin. Again, he's never done yin yoga before, so this is a great practice for beginners. So here he is. I'm going to move over here because he's over here. There we go. So he's going to come into a supported bridge, grabbing hold of the block right beside you there. If you don't have a block, grab hold of a pillow. And he's going to take the block right underneath his hips here. So we don't want the block to be on the spine. We want it to be at the base of the spine, right under the cervix there. There we go. So we've got a couple of options here. You can have the block on level 2, which he's at right now. That's what's feeling good for him. It's exactly where he grabbed it. You could have it at level 1, which would be at the very lowest level. Or you could grab 2 blocks and put them on top of each other. The other option would be to straighten out your legs when you're ready, only if you want to. Otherwise, just stay where you are. Your hands can be beside you or up in cactus arms. There's no right or wrong in yoga, right? So we want to just find a place where we have our own edge, a place where you can come to that you have absolutely no pain. You want to feel a little bit of a stretch, a few sensations, but nothing tingling, nothing burning, nothing hurting. We call this the practice of ahimsa. Ahimsa is a practice of non-hurting. And so this goes for feelings, it also goes for your body, and making sure that when you're in your practice that you're not hurting your body, that you're helping your body. So like I said, you have the option to come out of any pose anytime you like. If you find that it's starting to tingle or burn, adjust it. So if Martin starts to feel pain, I would maybe suggest taking the block down to the first level. If he's feeling like he's ready, he could straighten out his legs on the mat. You can try that, and if that doesn't feel good, come on back. We're just trying to create a little bit of a stretch in that lower back. Putting a little bit of compression on the spine here. If you have any kind of compression problems with your spine, adjust this so it feels right. And if it really doesn't feel right at all, just come down to Shavasana. Release the block at any time. Take any kind of pose that you need to make this work for you. And then come back to the breath. Inhaling at the top of the spine. Exhaling as you imagine that air floating down the spine. Inhaling at the base of the spine. And exhale, imagining that air floating up the spine. We're going to be holding these poses for about 5 minutes. But if it doesn't feel right, move out of it. You are in charge of your body. If your mind starts to become distracted, go back to noticing what's in the room, whether you're feeling happy, sad, relaxed. Noticing the smell, the sounds, and then come back to the sensation of how your body's feeling right now. Remembering our intention to pay attention, paying attention to the mind, paying attention to the body, and paying attention to the breath. So we're going to be in this pose just for another minute. If you find that it's too much, come on out anytime you like. So I have to thank Dr. Stuart McGill and Bernie Clark for this practice. Been taking a course with them and on your spine and on your yoga. And Dr. Stuart McGill is an incredible researcher, and he's Canadian on the spine. I've had the pleasure of seeing him speak a few times. So what he's done is he's connected with a yogi to create safe spinal practices, which really it's time that we meet science and yoga together, because this is an ancient practice. We want to make sure that what we know now, the research that we know now, is connected with the ancient practice, and that we're continuing to do safe practices. So to come on out of this pose, I'm going to ask you to press into your feet, lift up your hips, and remove the block. You might notice yourself groaning a little bit because we've been in this pose for a long time. Feel free to grab hold of your knees now and pull them in towards your chest. And just take a little rock from side to side. Just feeling the sensations. Sensations that you've just opened up your lower back. Enjoy that. Good morning, Camille. Oh, my sister Fiona's on here. Hello, Fiona. I love you. Thank you for joining us. I think my sister is also a beginner yogi, so this is a great practice for beginners who've never done yoga before. Just listen to your body as you work through it today. Remembering to keep that intention around paying attention to your mind, your body, and your breath. We're going to come into the next pose now. It's called Sphynx pose. So I'm going to ask you to roll onto your bellies. Roll right on over. So there goes Martin, rolling over. And he's got his elbows directly under his shoulders. And he's going to lift up onto the elbows like you're doing a cobra, bringing the elbows just a little tighter together there. So bring them a little closer. That's it. So this is the full expression of Sphynx right here. This does not work for everybody for a long time in a yin practice. So I'm going to give you a couple of options, and if you want to look at the options, just have a look at your screen now before we get into it. So you can also take a block or a foam roller or a bolster. We're going to take the bolster and put it right underneath him here. So now that he can take that foam roller and just relax and come off his elbows. So just lie on your chest there, Martin. We're going to move the foam roller up his chest a little bit. Okay, so you can see that we're still trying to create a little bit of a back bend here, but not a full back bend. So it's not as aggressive. So if you feel like you need something a little bit more relaxing for the 5 minutes, grab hold of a pillow or a bolster or a foam roller and just put it underneath your chest like that. To relax the head, if you find that a little bit too much compression on your neck, you can take the block and just put it right under the forehead so he can adjust that block so it's right under his forehead. You can see that there. There we go. So that's a much more relaxing version of Sphynx pose, but we still have that nice curve in the spine, so we're still creating a back bend, but it's a much more relaxing version of it. So yin is all about finding your edge, not going to pain, and finding a place where you can fully relax into the pose. Even our kitty cats are relaxed. So I'll give you a couple more seconds just to find the right pose for you, whether it's full expression of the Sphynx pose or more of a relaxed yin version of the Sphynx pose. We'll find it now. And we'll start. 5 minutes right there. As you move into the pose, just start to notice the sensations in your body. We want to pay attention to that first. Remembering to move out of the pose at any time you like, or adjust the pose anytime you like. Adjust it so you can breathe. Adjust it so that you're not feeling any pain. Or adjust it because you feel like maybe it's a bit easy and you're not feeling enough of a sensation, in which case you could release that foam roller from underneath your chest and come more up into a Sphynx pose. Our bodies are all blessed with different forms of flexibility. Some of us are more flexible than others, which is not necessarily always a good thing. I'm one of those people who could be in the Cirque du Soleil. Means my joints are more lax, which means that which means that we also have more trouble with our joints going forward, more compression on our spines, more knee trouble, more shoulder trouble. So being flexible to that degree is not necessarily a blessing. Maybe if you're in the Cirque du Soleil it is, but just in everyday life it's not. And the journey in yoga is not to become part of the Cirque du Soleil. The journey in yoga is just to take yourself to the edge of your own flexibility and work with where you are. So many people tell me that, oh, I'm not good at yoga because they can't do some of what those poses are in those pictures of the yogis that you see on social media. Well, those yogis, I'm afraid, aren't necessarily blessed with the same kind of joints as the rest of you. Those yogis are actually almost cursed because they've got too much flexibility. Too much flexibility means that our joints are lax. We're good gymnasts, but we're not necessarily blessed the same way the majority of the population are. So whenever you find yourself saying, I'm not good at yoga, ask yourself if it's just because you feel like you're not able to get into the poses that you see on social media. It really doesn't matter. You've just got your own body and you're working with who you are. I'm just going to give you a few more minutes in this pose. Coming back to your breath. Inhaling at the top of your spine. And imagining that air floating down your spine as you exhale. Inhaling at the base of the spine. And imagining the air floating up your spine as you exhale. Inhale at the top of the spine. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. You can see Martin's, you can't see because you're focusing on your practice, but Martin's just lifted his head up off the block now because he felt like he needed a little bit more. You could also bend your knees if you want to add a little bit more into this back bend. That'll bring a little more stretch into your lower back. Give that a try, see if you like it. If it doesn't feel right, feel free to take your feet right back down to the mat. Remember, we don't want pain. We just want a nice stretch, a nice sensation. Apparently there was a study done at Harvard on yin yoga, and it does reduce inflammation. So if you're a triathlete who's joining us today, and you worked out hard last night on our Zwift ride, it's a great way to relieve inflammation in the body without adding more to it, more stress to it. Another 3 breaths right here. And on that 3rd breath, start to lift yourself out of the pose wherever you are. Remove your block, remove your bolster, remove your roller. And just take your right cheek down to the mat. And bring your left knee in towards your waist. So you're going to bring the left knee in towards the waist. You're still on your belly. You've got your left knee on the mat. You've got your right cheek on the mat. We're just trying to release a little bit of stress here from that pose. It's a nice stretch in through the low back, in through the hip. Just notice again, we're paying attention because that's our intention. Notice the feelings, the sensations that you're feeling in your lower back or in your hips. And if you're feeling any kind of discomfort or pain, ask yourself how you could have adjusted that last pose to make it easier. And maybe set an intention for the next pose to try not to work so hard. I find as triathletes, we're so competitive that when we get into a yoga studio, we don't leave our competitive side at the door, and we start to see if they can push our poses a little farther. We don't need to push it. Our body knows what to do. Just listen to it. You're going to take your head over to the other side now, taking your left cheek to the mat. And bringing your right knee in towards your chest slightly. So we're still on the belly. And the right knee's come up. The left leg is straight. Right knee has come up. And you want to think about your eyes looking forward, so your chin is neither lifted nor tucked. You have a nice neutral head. Now we're feeling the sensations on this side. Feeling for the maybe tightness that you felt on that last pose and how you can release it with this stretch. Maybe noticing a difference between your right side and your left side. And just acknowledging that difference, knowing that it's there. And if your mind starts to wander, come back to the sensations in your body with the intention of paying attention to the mind, the body, and the breath. We'll take 2 more breaths right there. And then come on out of that pose. And we're going to roll onto our backs. Everybody knows what a banana looks like, right? We're coming into banana asana, it's called. We're going to turn ourselves into a shape like a banana. So it's a C shape. So starting with the arms, Take the arms up and overhead. Grab hold of opposite elbows. And take your elbows over to the left. Taking the head over to the left as well. So you can see Martin's never done this before, so he's sort of confused. You're a little confused. The elbows are going to stay up behind your head on the mat, on the floor. If you need to loosen the elbows, maybe grab hold of the forearms. If you feel any tingling at all in the arms, you may be kind of cutting off your brachial nerve there. So let's make sure that there's no tingling. And if you need to straighten the arms, or if you even need to release those arms completely. So we've got the C shape happening at the top end. Now we need to make the C shape happen at the bottom end. So what Martin's going to do is he's going to take his feet together and move them over towards the same side as his elbows have moved. So you can see now that the elbows and the feet are pointing in the same direction. The next option here is to take one foot and put it on top of the other. Do the foot that feels natural. So he took his right foot and put it over his left. You may feel more natural to put the left foot over the right.
I can feel the pull here.
Aha, okay, so he's starting to feel the pull. The kitty cat's checking him up. He's starting to feel the stretch in through his right side body right away. So here, again, we want to just take it to a comfortable edge. If it's a pull that you're feeling that feels discomfort or pain, back off on your banana. He's playing around with his legs a little bit, trying to figure out which side feels better for him. So feel free to play around with your legs. And once you've discovered where you need to be, try to just sit in stillness. Just for a few breaths. Allow the sensations to happen. Here we're paying attention to the body. Noticing, feeling those sensations in your body. Are you noticing any tingling? Are you noticing any pain? If you notice any tingling in the arms, release your arms. Back off just a little bit. If you're noticing any pain in your lower back, back off the legs a little bit. Maybe change the cross of the ankles. Adjust it as you need to. And if you're feeling comfortable there, then we start to pay attention back to the breath. Inhaling up the spine. As you exhale, allowing that breath to float down the spine. Inhaling at the base of the spine. Exhaling as you allow the breath to float up the spine. I got a great card from an old friend in high school. We had a reunion recently. On the card, it said something really important for today for me. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. At this crazy time, we just have to keep focusing on being in this moment and being grateful for all we have in this moment. And that quote, by the way, was by Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Where's Waldo?
Where's Waldo? So we have to be grateful for what we have in this moment. Grateful first and foremost for our health if we're remaining healthy. Grateful for this wonderful technology to be able to share it and to be able to share time with friends. Even if we can't be with them in person, we can be with them on FaceTime. Sharing this time together as a community of yogis, as triathletes. Grateful that we have food, we have shelter. Grateful to be able to spend more time doing yoga, meditating. Grateful to be focusing on the things that are really important and the people that are really important to us in our lives. We're going to take 2 more breaths right there. And release your arms first. Release your cross in your legs if your legs are crossed still. And you can hear the groaning. It's okay to groan away. Yeah, we need that, right? Because you're feeling probably kind of stiff after being in that pose. Feel free to do whatever motions right now feel right. Just ask your body what it needs. Martin needs a little stretch with his arms up over his chest. Maybe you need your knees in your chest. Just ask yourself what you need. Your body knows what it needs. There's no right or wrong in yoga. And any teacher that tells you that you have to do a pose in one way, I'm not so sure about that anymore. I think if you really need to do a pose in a different way, it's because your body's calling you to do it that way. And if you're ready, if the groaning's done, let's move on over to the other side. So Martin's going to take his arms up and overhead first. And he's going to move those clasped elbows over to his right side.
How much am I getting paid to do this?
He just asked if he's getting paid. I'm sorry, he's not getting paid. Paid in thank you and gratitude and love. And so maybe you guys can jump on.
Paid in health.
Maybe you can jump on this page and
Donate.
send him some thank you love after the class is done.
Please donate.
Donate to the Martin Love Fund. All right, so we've got both arms overhead, and now he's going to take his legs over to the side as well. So he's moving them over to the right side, turning himself into a banana. I'm waiting for the banana joke from Martin.
No, I'd rather not.
Okay, so no banana jokes today. We've got the legs moved over to the right side. We've got the arms moved over to the right side. Now remember what I said in this. Pay attention to your arms first. If you are feeling any tingling at all in your arms, release your arms. Maybe you felt tingling on one side, but you're not feeling it on the other. So pay attention to that first. We don't want to be breaking off that, or constricting that brachial nerve up top there. Maybe you need to release your head a little bit more. Maybe you'll need to release your arms.
Now I'm feeling the pull on the left side of my core.
Okay, so now he's feeling the pull on the left side of his core. You guys should all be feeling that same sensation, some version of it. So as we drift our thoughts down to the sensations in through the side body, notice if there's any pain, discomfort, and if there is, just back it off a little bit more. Maybe change the cross of your legs if you feel like that may help. Just start to pay attention to what's going on. Feeling any sensations in your body that feel good, and changing any sensations in your body that don't feel good. Now come back to your breath. Keeping with that intention of staying on the mat, that intention of paying attention to the mind, the body, and the breath. When the mind starts to wander, come back to the sensations in your body. And then if the mind continues to wander, come back to the breath. Inhaling at the top of your spine and exhaling to allow that breath to drift down to the bottom of your spine. Inhaling at the base of your spine and exhaling as that breath floats to the top of your spine. Inhaling and exhaling, feeling those sensations. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters at this moment compared to what lies within us. Take 3 more really deep breaths right here. Release your arms. Noticing the change in those arms. Wow. Oh, feeling a little tight there, making those groans. Martin's arms needed to come all the way up above his chest. I heard a little bit of snap, crackling, and popping in there, releasing gas from the joints. And release
the gas release there.
Yeah, no more gas release. Okay. And release the legs. We have to inject a little bit of humor here. He is our director of logistics and humor. Release the legs, groan away, do what you need to do. Ask your body what it needs right now and make the movements that it needs to feel released. Release those sensations and enjoy the vibrations in your body that's going on right now as your body is healing itself on a subconscious level. Ooh, boy. Yeah. All right.
I'm too old for this.
You're too old. No, he's 50 now. Old man. All right, we're coming, staying on our backs actually, and we're pulling into happy baby. I love this pose. There's so many versions of this pose. So I think Martin might have done this before, but I'm gonna cue him through it because I'm not sure. So he's got his feet flat on the mat. And now with the knees bent, he's gonna bring those bent knees up towards the sky. Taking the elbows inside your knees. Take your elbows inside your knees. Grab your right hand onto the right foot, left hand onto the left foot. Lots of options in happy baby. So this is what feels right for him, and that's exactly where he went to grab. You can grab your shins, you can grab your calves, and you can even grab your big toes if those are available to the flexible yogis in the group. Just take your peace fingers around your big toes and grab hold of that. Now that's a bit of a stretch for Martin. I think that he needs to back that off a little bit because his hips down here are lifting up off the mat. So we want to make sure that his hips are staying down on the mat there. Okay, so that looks like a better version for him. So he's got the hands around his ankles, and if this is too much for him, I'm going to ask him to slide his hands up towards his shins or his calves. You want to make sure that your chin is tucked in slightly so that you feel a little length in the back of your neck. And if this is too much, just turn it down a little bit, right? We're not here to compete. And the beautiful thing about this home practice is you can't see what anybody else is doing except for Martin. And even then, you can't even see that because hopefully your eyes are closed and you're in your pose, right? So there's no competition in yoga. It's your journey. It's your space. Back it down when you need to. So we'll take the focus now to the sensations in the body. We just focus on the sensations that you're feeling at this time. If you're feeling pain, that's number one. Don't want anybody there in pain. Now, are you feeling any kind of discomfort? If you're feeling discomfort, back it down again. If you're feeling an ease, you're doing it right. If you're feeling a struggle, change it up. There should be no struggle in yoga. If we're struggling, we're not breathing. If you're relaxed and at ease and you've made the adjustments you need to in this pose, come back to the mind and the breath. Inhaling at the top of the spine and exhaling, allowing the breath to float down the spine. Inhaling at the base of the spine and exhaling all the way up your spine. Focusing on the breath. Each time I've been trying to allow you more time in stillness and quiet. As your body and mind relax a little bit more, we're able to come into more of a meditation with each yin pose. Remembering if your mind starts to wander, you know what to do. Pay attention to the sensations. Pay attention to the breath. For those of you who've never done this kind of yoga before, you may want to take your feet back to the mat now and take your knees into what we call a butterfly shape. So I know my sister Fiona's on here. I don't think she's done much yoga. So Fiona, if you want, you can take your feet together on the mat. And Martin needed to take this break as well. So if you need to have a look at what he's doing, he's got his feet together on the mat and he's got his knees open towards the side now. So we're still stretching in through the inner thighs, but it's just a little less of an aggressive pose, if you want to use the word aggressive in yoga. I don't think we really like to use that word in yoga. And if that doesn't feel good, you can take your feet just a little farther down the mat and open the knees up, still to a little bit less though here. So you feel a little less of a tingle there. And any of you guys who are still up and happy baby, anytime you want to come out of that, feel free to just bring your feet down to the mat and come into a butterfly shape with your knees. Noticing the sensations as you land there. Noticing if it feels nice. Noticing if you're in pain. Back it down if you're feeling pain. Noticing if you're feeling discomfort. Noticing if there's a struggle or if there's an ease in this pose. And staying with the ease. Taking a few more breaths right here, coming back to the focus of the breath. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters, especially right now, compared to what lies within us. We have the ability to release stress, to feel relaxed, to release anxiety about what's going on in this crazy world right now. We have it within us to do this. And we can do it just by being on the mat and taking the time to relax and to breathe. And sharing this practice with your friends and your family, because there's a lot of people out there who are suffering from this and need help. Reach out to them and share the gift of yoga with your friends and your family. Take one more deep breath up the spine. Exhale down the spine. And then the groaning begins as we come out of this one. All right, take those knees together. What do you need? Maybe take your feet the width of the mat. And windshield wiper your knees in one direction and the other direction. So you can see, if you like, Martin's moving his knees from one side to the other side, giving his spine just a little bit of a twist there. Breathing with every motion that you make. Inhaling and exhaling and connecting the breath and the movement together. Just allowing that spine to release. Maybe you did something different there. Whatever your body's calling for is what it needs, right? It knows what to do. You've got the intuition right inside you. And if that feels good, we're going to come up into a supported butterfly now. So either rolling onto your side or rolling all the way up, somehow get yourself to seated. He's going to roll it up. There we go. Okay, and now just have a look around the room for all your props. You're going to need lots of props here because we are coming into a butterfly pose. but it's a supported butterfly. So take your feet together in butterfly. Butterfly. And so if you want to just grab hold of the block there, Martin, on the other side, you can put your block right underneath your knees here. But we only have one block at home, and I'm not going shopping because I'm not going outside right now. So he grabbed hold of a pillow, and he's got a pillow under that left knee. Maybe you want to hold another pillow. I'll throw another pillow fight. All right.
No, you start.
Okay, we're adding comic relief. The stress is high over here. Okay. No, he's not stressed. I'm stressed. All right, so let's take the blocks or the pillows and you can put them underneath the knees. Now you might need another pillow because we are going to roll forward here. So for people who are less flexible, remembering that flexibility isn't necessarily a good thing, you can grab a whole bunch of pillows and stick them on your feet. Now you're going to release your hands from your feet and you're going to roll yourself forward.
Really?
Yeah. So this is a tough one, right? This is people who are less flexible need a lot of pillows. Okay, so try that, Martin. Try rolling forward and relax your forehead on the pillows. And take your hands up on the pillows. Okay, there we go. So here is a version of somebody who's a little less flexible in the spine, on this direction, in this direction at least. So he's got his knees supported and he's got his upper body supported. There are probably a lot of versions of this pose going on right now. I'd love to see them all, but unfortunately this is a one-way street. Maybe you don't need any pillows at all. Maybe your forehead is resting on a block.
How low do you want your forehead to be?
Martin asked, how low do you want your forehead to be? You want your forehead to be as low as it's comfortable. So if you're comfortable there, you can stay right there. Otherwise, we can remove a pillow, and that would allow his head to sink forward a little bit farther and his upper body to sink forward a little bit farther. Completely up to you. Let's try taking a pillow away.
Let's experiment.
Okay, so he's experimented and he's taken one pillow away. I could stick a block under his forehead so he's got space to breathe. How's that feeling? Is that okay?
Can't feel my spine anymore.
Can't feel his spine.
Okay.
All right, so as usual, as we come into our poses, we're feeling for sensations first. So we're doing a lot of exploring here, trying to figure out the best way to make him feel comfortable. And I think we might have found it. But at any time he feels discomfort, I'm just going to move things around for him so that it feels good. Remembering that we're just taking it to our comfy edge here, a place where we can feel ourselves stretching, a place where there's no pain, no discomfort, keeping with our intention of paying attention. Finding a stillness. Finding a place where you can feel completely at ease, no struggle. Making sure your shoulders are relaxed. Paying attention to the sensations in your body right now. paying attention to the breath. Inhaling at the top of the spine. Exhaling to allow that breath to float down the spine. Inhaling at the base of the spine. And exhaling, floating that air all the way up to the top of your spine. Inhale and exhale. Where is your mind? Breath. Starting to pull out of this pose now. Bring your head on up. Release your arms. Release the pillows. Feel free to have another pillow fight with your spouse if their spouse or your kids are in the room. No, I don't think so.
Can I really?
Let's bring those knees together. If you're just joining us, we're going to be adding this practice to a YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, and our website. So not to worry, you can come back and do this again. Just saw a couple of people jump on. All right, what do you need? What do you need? Do you want to lie down on your back? Do you want to bring your knees into your chest? What do you need?
Ooh.
Oh, food. No McDonald's today. All right, we're going to see what he needs. All right, Martin needs his knees in his chest. Ask yourself what you need. He needs a little motion too with that. So he's rocking his knees from side to side. He's stretching out one leg and then the other leg. He's just checking in to see what's going on with his body after that last pose. It's all good. A little bit of groaning. That's okay.
Everything still works.
Everything's still working. Checking in. Okay, we've got our final postures coming up, and we're going to do a twist to release the spine now. So there's a couple of options in twist. Feel free to have a look at your screen right now if you like. Otherwise, if you know how to do your twists, you can do them on your own. I'm going to show you the most challenging version of the twisted route right now. That is probably for the people who are the most flexible. So we're going to bring the knees up in towards the chest. We're going to cross the left knee over the right knee. Release your hands from your ankles and then bring your knees over to your right side. Okay, so this one may be a little much for Martin. Oh, he's doing okay. He's all right. And then take your arms out to the side. You can either put them into a T position, so both arms into a T position. You could take them into cactus again if you feel any tingling in the arms. You don't want to cut off your brachial nerve there. So if cactus arms is too much, then release that and bring it back into a T. How high your T is totally depends on how that feels. If you can get that other knee down to the mat, that's a great option. But again, that's for the people who are more flexible. So some of the adjustments that I would make here for people who are having trouble with this pose, I may put a block in between the knees, especially if you have any kind of a knee problem there and your meniscus on either side. You may feel that that's a lot of pressure on your meniscus. So just put a block in between the knees. Another option is to take both knees together and not into a twist. Maybe stick a block in between the knees and then allow the knees to come down towards the floor. Another option is to take the knees up a little bit higher towards your side body and then put a block right underneath the knees and allow the knees to relax on the block and bring the knees together. So lots of options here. First, we're feeling for sensation, right? So we're looking to see what the best version of this twist is going to be for you today and on this side. So I'm just going to allow Martin to figure out where he needs to go. He's going to cross his legs and bring it over into more of a twisted root. In twisted root, you can let the foot come underneath the other calf or shin if you want. But again, it's totally up to you and what you need. This is the version he wants to do. And so we just let him be.
Feeling it in the left hip.
Okay, so here's the sensation. He's feeling it in his left hip right now because his knees are turned toward the right side. So the left hip is being stretched. You're feeling it maybe in your left side body, in through your spine a little bit, and lower back. Really want you to pay attention on this one a lot and see if there's a better version of it. You want to be able to relax in through your lower body. And right here, you can play with your head as well. Play around with looking over your left shoulder. See if that feels okay. If you feel any sensations of nausea or lightheadedness when you turned your neck over to that side, just bring it over to the center or maybe look over towards your right shoulder. There's no best version. The best version is what suits you. As you inhale, see if you notice any stretch in through your pectoral muscle, your chest muscle. And as you exhale, see if you can relax a little bit more in your lower body. If you're having a struggle relaxing your lower body, adjust your lower body so you can relax it a little bit more. Yeah. Checking in with the intention of paying attention. Attention to your sensation. Attention to discomfort or pain. Attention to whether you're struggling in the pose or you're at ease. We want to be at ease, right? Take out the struggle and now put in the breath. Inhaling at the top of your spine and exhaling at the base of your spine. Taking 3 more really deep breaths here. Rolling that air up and down your spine. So we start to come out of this side. Undo the cross of your legs. Bring your knees back to center. Take your hands back down your spine, down by your side. Take any movements that you need before you roll into the other side. Maybe you need to windshield wiper your legs. Maybe you need to bring your knees in towards your chest. Lots of deep exhales or groans, making it real, making it organic. All right, let's come on over to the other side. So setting it up exactly the same way as you did on the other side. Try it the same way. If that doesn't work, remember you can switch it up. Switching it up doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It means that you're listening to your body. And remember that each side may have a different version of this pose, right? I'm a lot tighter on my right side with SI joint problems, so femoral nerve problems on the right side. So I need to go a little easier on one side than the other side. Just acknowledge that. Don't try to push it. Find your edge without struggle. Remembering that you can use a block or a pillow to put in between your knees. What's that? That's okay. So I've got a block here. I could stick it in between Martin's knees here if he needed it, but he doesn't need it, so he's good. You could also take the block and put it under both knees. Now pay attention to your lower body. Is it relaxed? If it's not relaxed, grab hold of a block or a pillow and stick it under your knees so you can find a place where you're relaxed. Your arms are open into a T or maybe into cactus. Paying attention to the arms now, or do you have any sensation of tingling? And if you do, let that go. And where are you going to look? Over your right shoulder, if that feels good. Or maybe over your left shoulder, if that feels better. Maybe you need to have your head in a neutral position. One side can be different than the other. Acknowledge it and let it be. Once you've settled into your pose, we come back to the breath. Inhaling at the top of the spine. Exhaling to allow that breath to float down the spine. Inhaling at the base of the spine. And exhaling to allow that air to come up to the top of your spine. Releasing this side now. We'll take the knees back to center. Release the arms, release the cross of your leg. And just make any final movements that feel good. Maybe you need to windshield wiper your knees again. Maybe you need to bring your knees into your chest. It's so interesting as a yoga instructor to see what people need after different poses. This is where I particularly love paying attention. When I'm teaching a big class and I see 20 people doing 20 different things, it just makes you so grateful for the different ways we all need to move and need to feel the sensations in our body. It's amazing to watch. It's a beautiful thing watching people's intuition in action. And it's time for Shavasana. In Shavasana, this gives us time to relax and recoup and allow the body to catch up with what it's just been through. So if this is your first time in Shavasana, I ask you to come down onto your backs, taking up lots of space. You can take your legs apart as much as you like. Palms face up. Palms can face down. Arms can be in cactus arms, bringing them up by your side, or maybe you feel like you want to leave them by your side. Take a little tuck in your chin. Lengthen your cervical spine. And have a look around for your shoulder blades, those beautiful angel wings. And make sure that they're flat on the mat. Move your shoulders around to find that place where you can allow your shoulders to relax. And your scapula are flat on the mat. Those shoulder blades are flat. Coming up to your head. See if you can relax your brow. This is where a lot of us carry worry. Release that stress now. Unhinge your jaw, allowing the teeth to come apart. Maybe allow the lips to come apart. And take the tongue onto the roof of your mouth. Relaxing any tension in your neck, in your jaw, in your shoulders. If your shoulders are lifting up, drop them down. Take that peace and relaxation right down your arms, into your fingers. Are you clenching your hands? Or could you let them go a little bit more? Bringing those waves of relaxation down through your chest. Just come back to the breath that you wake up with every morning. We're not trying to force the breath anymore. We're just allowing the breath to happen. Belly is relaxed. Back is relaxed. Just allow gravity to sink your body down into the mat. Coming down into your legs. Are you trying to hold your legs in a position, or are they just flopped? Let them flop. Taking out any struggle to stay in position. Allow your knees to flop. Your legs to flop. Are your feet flexed? Or are they relaxed? Toes relaxed. Just breathe. If your mind starts to get distracted, take another journey down your body to see if you can make it relax anymore. We'll start to bring movement back into the fingers now. Back into the toes. Take little circles with your wrists. Little circles with your feet. Maybe play the piano with your fingers, play the piano with your toes. And we'll take that full body stretch, reaching those arms up and overhead. Take a deep inhale through the nose and a deep exhale through the mouth. Feeling that energy you've created, that peaceful energy. We're going to roll into the fetal position now, taking the right arm and using it as a pillow and rolling those knees up towards your chest and coming onto your side. Taking a few breaths in fetal pose. Cat by his side. Here's the kitty. Taking a few breaths right there, coming back into this space. Noticing the changes in your body from just an hour practice of yin. And sharing this piece with your friends and your family today. We'll press into the left hand and release the right arm and come all the way back up to seated. Here we are. Taking the hands to heart center. We'll inhale together. And exhale to Om, and Om like everybody is listening. Inhale together. Om. Namaste, friends. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to Martin. Send him lots of love on our Facebook page for being our extra today in our YouTube version of Yin Yoga.
Please donate.
Donate to the Love Fund of Martin. And remember, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Share your love with other people today. Connect with your friends, your family on FaceTime, on whatever media you can connect with them. And feel free to share this Yin video with your friends and family on our YouTube channel or on our website. Remember, we're also donating gift cards to Anna Boulanger's studio this week. So AnnaBoulanger.com, jump on there, buy yourself a gift card, that you can use when this crazy, crazy stuff is all over. Have a wonderful day, everyone. If we're getting lots of rain here today, so we're gonna probably jump on our bikes here on Zwift. But if it's a nice day where you are, get outside and enjoy some fresh air. Take the kids out with your rubber boots and umbrellas and have some fun, and we'll see you next time, and keep following us for our daily practices. Namaste. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone. Ciao for now.